Today we are refreshing our elevated beds.
Join us as we add a fresh coat of stain, spray paint our metal trellises, and refresh the soil. Welcome to our garden here in Zone 6A, Upstate New York. This is our edible area where we grow things that we like to eat.
Yes, this is our little potager garden.
So normally we spend so much time on all of the ornamental things, but back in 2022, when we built this terrace and this patio area, we wanted to have a spot dedicated to growing things and having fun experimenting with, things that we wanted to eat. And so we got these elevated planter boxes from Gardener's Supply. They're made out of cedar, and we went ahead and we stained them with an all-natural Polyway food-grade safe stain in the color charcoal and gave them 3 coats. But I think after 3 full seasons in the sun, heading into their 4th season, I think they could just use a little refresh.
Just a little touch up. Here in the front, there's a little bit of missing stain, and I think the top edges probably is the spot that needs it the most.
And so it not only will make them look beautiful, but it also will, make the longevity, enhance the longevity of the cedar. Also, above them are the arch trellis that we can grow some vines up. You can see remnants from seasons past. We're gonna go ahead and just give them a fresh coat of matte spray paint so that they have a nice uniform appearance. And then inside here, we're not only going to refresh the soil, and obviously we have a little bit of weeding to do.
Yeah, and I think that's old celery that didn't get removed.
Yes, we forgot to pull that out. We're also going to take out these grids of irrigation, which we were super enthusiastic about last year. They didn't really work out very well for us because they really just poured too much water. And we played around a lot with the duration of time. We played around a little bit with how much water was coming through them, but they just proved to be a little bit too uncontrollable for us. So we are going to remove that. And then as we plant things throughout the season, we're going to add that drip irrigation that we're really comfortable with and really familiar with that we've done throughout the rest of the garden.
As you can see below, when we were adding the drip irrigation to the raised beds, we ran black poly drip all underneath here. It's all in this big grid system. And we installed a valve that we could increase or lower the pressure. But as Eric said, it was very hard to fully pressurize this long bed. And then it doesn't really have control of each individual emitter. They're really just holes. So we're not sure exactly how much water was coming out. So all I'm gonna be doing today is going in here between some couplers. If I can find, there it is.
It might even just pull right apart.
Almost. This one's gonna be a little more challenging, Eric.
Why do you say that?
Because
it's around the strawberries?
Oh, it's around the strawberries. I was thinking strawberries might have grown. Oh, see, like this one here?
That's okay. Yeah.
This is a rooting right here.
Yes, that was part of the plan. Remember at the end of the season last season, we took the little trailers
and re-tacked them up here
and tucked them in.
I think these might have life in them. These are seascape strawberries.
Oh shoot,
there's some light there.
This one got cut in the wrong spot. But you know what? We can connect it all back together.
Yeah, we can put it all back together. I'm saving the couplers anyway, and who knows, I'll probably end up redoing the whole
modifying.
thing.
I know. Yeah. The more you do drip, the easier it is because you learn
like what goes where and what you like where. Sometimes when I'm asked how I do drip irrigation, I have to say, what fits your garden, what fits your raised bed is what's going to work for you.
And I also think the hardest thing about irrigation is it's really, really dependent on your weather. It's dependent on your soil. It's dependent on the sun exposure. There is no answer for how long do I run the water for? Nope. How much do I water that? That is not possible for us to answer. It's only something that you in your garden can figure out. And we experimented and we learned that these water way too much. We went from underwater in the year before
to overwatering
this year.
So with that removed, we can begin weeding, cleaning out some of this soil, and then we'll show you what we're going to refresh it with.
I like those grids in a way that they kind of forced you to plant everything in very neat, organized rows, but there's something a little bit freeing.
There is something freeing about having all this space to plant as we will.
So these beds we grew potatoes in last year and a couple of other things. So if you find any like big chunks of roots or anything, Just go ahead and pull that out.
You know, I think we enjoyed growing potatoes, but anyone who's grown potatoes in the ground knows you're waiting till they look really terrible on the surface to know that your potatoes are done. But since we kind of want our raised beds to look nice, for a good portion of our season last year, we just had kind of yucky plants.
So are you saying we can only grow pretty things?
Well, not necessarily, but potatoes look pretty yucky.
They do. But I mean, believe it or not, potatoes do very well in these elevated beds. So if you do want to grow potatoes, this is a great option. How's the soil holding up?
The soil is in really good
Yeah,
shape.
last year we did a huge upgrade on the soil. We upgraded it to all Coast of Maine, Bar Harbor. These elevated beds are the type that you would use potting mix in, because potting mix is a little bit loftier.
Yeah, you want that light water draining quality, because if they get too heavy, they're gonna break. They're up high. But also, again, what a great way to save your back by using an elevated planter box.
I suppose these were all things we could have done, last fall, but
What's the fun in that?
you get tired, And it leaves you something to do this time of year when you're itching to get out in the garden and be productive.
Since all of a sudden it feels like spring today, which it has not recently.
Nope. I'm gonna go ahead and cut back these strawberries. I do see some new growth. And I think we really wanna add more strawberries to this bed. Kind of like a whole ring around the center, and then we can grow something pretty in the middle that can utilize that Jardin trellis or obelisk. Yeah, it looks like these all made it through the winter, which is great.
That's
news.
great.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, it's sunny out.
It's amazing. So like we said before, we use an organic potting mix. We chose Bar Harbor Blend potting soil from Coast of Maine. It's all natural. It's organic. It's got tons of goodies in it. We feel very comfortable and confident using this product. And again, we choose the potting soil because it is loftier. We don't want to put soil from the earth, from the ground in here. We wouldn't want to use all raised bed mix in here. You could probably use a combination, which is what we did last year. And then of course, we'll add some organic fertilizer throughout the season as we're planting things. We want to top this up as much as we can. Every last crumb out.
Every last crumb.
And let's spread it out and see where we're at. Each of these beds, I think, holds about 12 cubic feet of potting soil. So
Was it 12 or 24?
it was not 24 because it takes 6, maybe 7 2 cubic foot bags.
That's what it was. I knew there were 12
And if it was
bags.
24, I think that would be 12 bags. And I know it's not that much.
Honestly, I don't think you're going to need to put more than that in this one.
I think that is correct.
You know, we're learning as we go. I think if you top up the raised beds with too much soil, you end up with overflow of water and overflow of soil, which makes a whole mess. So far in the basement greenhouse, I have tomatoes, I have eggplant, I have the delicata squash, and I think that's it for food-related items at the moment. I did bring some seeds outside with us. I don't know if you noticed, Eric, but I thought it would be fun to start some carrots today.
For sure. Are we gonna do the drip for those carrots or just hold off a bit?
We can hold off for a bit. We've got quite the April showers in and out for the next week.
No kidding. But that's why we have to get this done today on this beautiful sunny day, because it's gonna give the stain enough time to get its act together before the rain starts at the end of the week.
In the 2x4s last year, we had tomatoes and eggplant. It was our Italian area. I'm gonna put a little bit of the Castine blend. This is the actual Coast of Maine raised bed mix, which half of these beds, or half the soil in these beds already is Castine. But I'm thinking because it's a little richer, that this soil might appreciate the extra boost of that since it was such heavy feeders.
Maybe throw some in with the strawberries too if you have extra. I wouldn't recommend, 100% this mix just because it's probably weight-wise heavy for the cedar beds, but definitely for nutrients, it's ideal. Next on our agenda is giving a fresh coat of stain to the bed and spray painting the trellises. I'm thinking we'll do coat of stain, and as that coat kind of dries, we'll spray paint and then go back to coat of stain and then maybe another coat of spray paint if we need it.
I think that's a good plan.
So all I'm gonna do is take these cloths and wipe the extra dirt off of them. I mean, they don't need to be absolute perfection, but this is what I'm gonna do. Here's one for you. You know you're a gardener when you're prepping your stain by stirring it with a bamboo stake, because that's what we have.
Do you feel chunks at the bottom?
I sure do. So this is Vermont Natural Coatings Polyway Food Grade Safe Stain in Charcoal. And I'm gonna kind of stir it the best that I can. And just a little caveat, we're not saying that this is how you should stain.
We're saying this is how we're doing it.
Yeah, this is how we're staining our elevated beds. So I'm just gonna stir well as instructed. And then I have some tools in front of me. I've got a brush and a little pad to wipe down any extra spills, sponges to dab along the top. I feel the chunks on the bottom kind of breaking up.
Okay.
So that's good. I'm gonna glove up, not because these are waterproof gloves that are gonna protect me. They'll probably help me out a little bit.
Oh, those are the nitrile on the fingers, so they should keep
Oh,
you...
actually, right, yeah. And then do a little dab. This is very liquidy. So this area, let's see if it makes a difference. I think it's gonna be a lot of dribbles. How's it look?
I mean, so far it looks pretty good.
It's pretty bubbly. I think what I'm supposed to do is wipe it afterwards, but before it dries, I'm supposed to give it a little wipe, I think. What happens if I lightly do this?
It seems to smooth it out a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
So you keep up with that. I'm gonna start taking the little sponge and dabbing the top edges. It makes a very big difference immediately on these top edges.
Yeah. I just want to make sure I wipe the stain off of these metal corners before it settles with one of those. While you're up, will you hand me one of those? Oh, here's a bag. These are coming along so good. We have kind of been rushing because we want to beat the light. But I will say, look at what's happening to our gloves. I mean, come on, Rust-Oleum, what are we doing here? Project, I think, was bigger than we thought it was going to be. Look at those moves. Although it is such a gorgeous afternoon. And I would say it's filled with fresh air, but at the moment it is not. Look at you. All right, as we're waiting for first coats to dry, let's get this drip set up.
This isn't the drip setup. What this is I'm going to be smart and I'm gonna put my 1/4-inch drip tube up through the bottom of the Pascal urn so that when I do wanna hook this up to the drip system, I don't have to fish this up through all of the dirt that I'm about to put in there.
I know. I do see we got some dribbles of the paint on the urn, but we're just going to face that towards the back.
That's probably for the best.
Those were some leaky things. And you know what, Rust-Oleum, I'm not happy with you. And we still haven't decided. We might do a mixture of edibles and ornamentals in here. Maybe some herbs.
I think it's the mix.
I do too. Maybe some lavender, herbs, edibles and ornamental, all the things.
Basil and super bells.
Oh, interesting choice.
So I'm just gonna take some Bar Harbor potting soil and pop it in here.
And then eventually those will get hooked into the lines that are attached to the elevated boxes. And that'll really make it easy to take care of them for the season.
It's a new day. We started losing light and had an entire second coat of this stain to put on. To be completely honest, this took a lot longer than we thought it was going to. Not in the, oh, it's hard work, but it just takes a while to get the 2 coats of stain on and all the spray painting done on the arch trellises. But let's take a look and you will see why it was completely worth it. I hope this reads on camera as good as it looks in person. The black spray paint on the large arch is incredible. And just these top edges here being so clean, and the charcoal stain, which really reads black, especially because this, I guess, would be 5 coats, considering 3 years ago we put 3 coats on and this was the 2 coats. I think it looks wonderful. Very happy with this, and the soil in the Pascal urns just makes me itch for planting season. Then the last 2 things on the agenda, we're going to be getting these toolboxes, which they really do look like a mailbox. I think it's funny. We keep extra gloves, nippers, some twine and wire and stuff in there. It's really helpful to have these right next to the elevated beds. So this one already has the screws in, so I'm going to hang this one back up. And then Eric had spray painted the new one black, and I'm going to get that installed on the far bed, and we will have easy access to all our little tools in the garden. Yes! First try. I love when something goes in correctly the first try. It looks great, and now I maybe will just keep staking equipment or tying equipment in this one, and maybe that guy just gets pruners and gloves. Perfect. The final thing that we wanted to get done yesterday before we so quickly ran out of light was planting some carrots. I picked up a few weeks back Tonda di Parigi carrots. The reason that we got them is they're really cute. They're kind of round and short. So we figured, not that we're worried about the depth, but we'll just take that into account and use these small size but big flavor. Apparently it means round of Paris. I'm assuming in Italian. These are a 1/4 inch depth seed. I'm gonna do a couple rows here since it's probably our only cool season crop, to be completely honest. I'm gonna leave a little bit of room for when my vines go in. But let's just plant up 1 inch apart, a couple rows. Oh, carrot seeds are tiny. So I'm gonna do this here, this here, this here. I'm just gonna do these 3 rows of carrots and we'll see what we get. And everyone knows I'm an overseeder, so I'm just gonna do the very gentle sprinkle. They said to thin these to 1 every few inches once they germinate. But let's see what they do. I haven't run drip yet, obviously. I'm going to do that as more of the summer things get put in here this time of year, especially with April showers, like we keep on saying. We're not gonna have to worry so much about irrigation. I'm just gonna put a couple extra for good measure, just a few more. I'm excited to see what these tiny little carrots do. I didn't tell Eric that I was going to do this today. He's off at work. Okay, so these are now tapped in there. They're under their 1/4 inch. I'm going to go grab the watering can, give them a little drink, and then that does it for our raised bed refresh. Thank you so much for hanging out with us as we get these raised beds refreshed. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel.
Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're Grow For Me Gardening.
Thanks for growing with us.